My name's Dave MAYO. I'm with Studio MAYO Architecture Plus Construction. This is H2O, and it represents the size of the planet relative to the amount of water on the planet. One of the core elements onto our planet for life on this planet is water. Water's really good at spreading out, and so yeah, 70% of the planet's covered in water, but it's like this thin of water. The oceans are not that deep compared to the diameter of the planet. I mean, it's like sweat on an apple. If you squeegee that off into a ball, there's not much volume of water. So the hoop represents the planet to scale, and then there's a pool of water at the bottom that shows the limited resources we have. The inside of the diameter represents the surface of the Earth, and the outside diameter represents the distance to the Kármán line, which is considered the edge of space, observable atmosphere that's kind of protecting us. It makes you realize, this is something we really need to protect. It's very fragile and precious. It was a story that I wanted to tell. I'm just a real nerd about earth science. I don't know where that comes from. But yeah, anything that shows the scale of planets and how far apart they are, or how the sun hits the dirt versus the water and causes these air to heat up and move to create these air currents, and just the interplay and interaction of natural forces really intrigue me. We were inspired by this piece when I came across some data from the US Geological Survey that took a picture of the planet as if it was dry and showed the volume of the water compared to it in size. It was the first thing that popped in my mind when the design prompt from Bernheim to express or celebrate something. I was like, well, here's something cool that I've been fascinated with, and I tell everyone I talk to about water. It's not really architecture, but it is a structure and it's art, and architecture is just, frozen music, or there's all these different analogies that people make for what architecture is. We're doing all kinds of things that are stretching what it means to be an architect. So the piece is made out of stainless steel that we got through Ward Forge, and they rolled the pieces for us into a general shape. And then we drew a giant circle with chalk on a parking lot, put a drill screw in the middle of the parking lot, drew a big circle, and they're like racing the rain and trying to lay out all these pieces and pulling strings to mark each cut so they all fit together perfectly. And the whole piece is about scale, so trying to make sure that it's like exactly the right size to the scale of the planet. Yeah, and then we loaded up in a U-Haul truck, which barely fit, and drove it out here. Once we got it all square and plumb, and we tacked it together and then welded it all, grind the seams and polished the seams, and then tilted it up with this telehandler. And now we're just bolting it down to the foundation, and we'll put the pond in next. We've had a lot of fun building this thing. Me and Peter Hall, Blake Turner, and Max Hinkle. It's been a cool group of people that we pulled together to execute this. I hope that it intrigues people, that they're like, what is this? Our aim is awareness. So we're just trying to tell that story to as many people as we can, and what better place than Bernheim, where they have hundreds of thousands of visitors come through every year. So this seemed like the perfect partnership to this piece. Tell the story on this kind of platform. Hopefully it will have a large reception and a larger impact to get that message and awareness out to as many people as we can. Hopefully that helps other people feel empowered to react and call their representatives and make sure we get some kind of legislation or some support, even if it's just emotional, to that, like to turn cultural tides on towards sustainability.